Austin Brimstone here from a surprisingly chilly summer evening. Today talking Shrek, more specifically Fiona today, and regrets.
It's Brimstone.
Yeah, right, Brimstone.
So you have buyer's remorse. I go to a lot of these conventions and I get what's called buyer's remorse. I have a hard time pulling the trigger on items and purchases. I've always just been the type of person that I like to be frugal with my money and support and help my family and buy food and groceries and that sort of stuff. So when I go to these conventions and events and I see higher priced items I want, I often don't buy them and I get buyer's remorse. It happens a lot, trust me. You could ask, if you ever came across anyone in the family, they'll give you stories of Austin regretting convention purchases. Well, I've got a new one for the record books. Ultimate buyer's remorse. I was browsing eBay under the Shrek tab, and I browse eBay religiously. It's kind of part of the collecting process. If you want to collect neat Shrek things like this, and you want to get a good deal, you've got to really keep track of your eBay, your Mercari, and just constantly be refreshing. That's how you get the good deals. They're not just going to land in your lap. You got to work to get them. And you know, I've seen some good items come and go, and sometimes I bought them, sometimes I've not. And an item came up that I saw, and I didn't give it too much thought, but I added it to my watch list, and I looked at it, and I didn't buy it. And I got the buyer's remorse. It was a 2-page magazine print ad of Shrek holding a camera, an HP camera specifically, and it was advertising, I think, Hewlett-Packard, one of their cameras. I thought it was funny because it's that meme of Shrek with the camera, and it says, I'm adding that to my cringe collection. And that's a great meme. I use that one a lot. That's a classic. So I looked at this print ad, and I'm like, that's where that photo comes from. That would be really funny to frame that on my wall. Like, here's Shrek with the camera in his hand, but it doesn't have the meme text, and just kind of put that on the wall as a piece. It was like $20. Added it to the watch list. I looked at it. It was listed there a couple of hours, and then it disappeared. And then I hear from the Shrek collecting groups that the legendary Holy Grail Shrek photo advertisement has been found. This is breaking news everywhere. It's even broken out of the, small but dedicated Shrek community that I consider myself to be a part of, and into the mainstream animation and pulp culture crowd. Apparently, this magazine print ad of Shrek with a camera is a holy grail of Shrek collecting, one of the rarest of the rare pieces. That image of Shrek with the camera had been lost media. No one knew exactly where it came from. It was known that it was part of a marketing stunt with HP. I mean, I thought that was pretty obvious, but I guess no one thought to photograph and upload the original advertisements, which were probably only printed in a couple of comics and magazines that have long been thrown away. So yeah, that was kind of lost media found. To think for a moment that if I had bought that, I would own one of the rarest pieces of Shrek media. But no, now we're just here, all 5 of you out there watching. Such is life. But it was a lesson learned that if I see something and I don't know what it is, and I don't recognize it, and it's something I collect, this goes for you too, you should buy it. Rule of thumb is you should buy it if you don't know what it is, because it might be something really rare and really unique. So, since that situation happened, I've been keeping a closer eye on eBay, and decided, I'm gonna treat myself. If I see something Shrek related or furry related, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna have it, because I work hard, and dang it, I deserve those nice things. That's enough rambling out of the way. Let's get to the featured piece today. A Shrek item that showed up. I didn't recognize it. I thought it was an unlicensed bootleg, and I bought it because I thought it was a cool bootleg. Turns out it is licensed, and it may be one of the rarest pieces of Shrek merchandise out there. It is the Fiona lamp. Now, if you grew up in the 2000s, you remember these, right? They were kind of these gelatin popcorn-like lamps they made of all the cartoon characters of the time. There was a SpongeBob, there was a Patrick, But the really popular ones were the Disney princesses, where their dresses would light up. They made Snow White, Cinderella, Ariel, all of them. But this is Fiona from Shrek, not a Disney character. So this here is a bit of a spoof item. It's kind of DreamWorks throwing a little shade at Disney. It's not the first time they've done something like this. There was also a very funny plush of a baby donkey wrapped up in a blanket. And to most kids, that's probably a cute plush, but if you know, that's a direct lampoon at Disney and their line of Disney babies in the blankets. So this seems to be a lamp of Fiona poking fun at the Disney Princesses line, trying to get a piece of that market, if you will. What jumped out about this listing wasn't just that it's a cool lamp and it's a fun piece, but that the sculpting on it is superb. It may be one of the best sculpts I've ever seen for Fiona, not in her ogre form. It's a wonderful interpretation of the Fiona character. Compared with Hasbro's Fiona figure, here's the two side by side. I think the lamp does a better job of capturing Fiona's beauty and whimsy than the actual action figure. Interestingly enough, she is in her human form and not her ogre form, which I think is interesting given the timing of this release, and I'll get there in a second. But yeah, as an actual product, I think it's really wonderful. She is pretty stylized and has a bit of a toon look to her, and I think the reason why that is because she's based off of a piece of 2D artwork that was released for Shrek the Third. This was the first thing I noticed when I saw the listing for this, and figured that it was a bootleg. I figured it must have been based on this piece of artwork. And it is, even as it is licensed. And I'll show you the licensed bit in a moment that confirms it. But I think the artist who sculpted this did a really wonderful job of translating that artwork into 3D. The head sculpt is not perfect, and there are certainly some cursed angles where the eyes look a little too far apart, a little fish-eyed, but she is made to be looking to the side, and if you position the lamp that way, then it looks really good. So all in all, a solid sculpt of human Fiona, very toon and stylized, which I think is fun, it pops, and it's just a great piece that I'm happy to have. Now as for what the product actually is, that is answered on a tag connected to the power outlet of the lamp. Shrek Princesses. So Shrek Princesses was a subline of Shrek merchandise that released alongside Shrek the Third. If you remember in Shrek the Third, the B-plot of the movie, aside from Shrek and Puss and Donkey going on their adventure, was that Fiona was captured by Prince Charming and thrown in a dungeon with all the other princesses. And together, they were going to have a goal boss moment and save themselves. And you know what? Even though Shrek the Third is not a perfect movie, it's got some flaws, I think Fiona and the Princesses is the better half of that film. The B-plot is much more interesting than the A-plot. So I always kind of like that story of Fiona rescuing herself after essentially being a damsel for the first two movies. And it made sense why DreamWorks would want to market all of these princesses that'll kind of have a fighting force together and make them into something marketable like the Disney princesses. Because if you recall, 2007, when Shrek the Third came out, was the absolute height of Disney Princess Mania, when that brand was so big. They were putting Disney princesses on bed sheets, pillows, everything. So the logic was to market the Shrek princesses that way. And they made a lot of products. There were Shrek princess pillowcases, books, journals, even a full line of Shrek princess dolls from MGA, the company that made Bratz. And those dolls are extraordinarily rare. I don't own any of them. So this will probably be as close as I get for now to owning one of those MGA Shrek dolls. But I looked online everywhere, looking up various pieces of the Shrek Princesses line, and I couldn't find any evidence of this lamp ever existing. I found all sorts of bizarre, obscure, rare Shrek Princess items, but I couldn't find this lamp. It's like this product doesn't exist. I seriously have looked everywhere, and I couldn't find much on it at all. I would have figured instantly that this is a bootleg based off that Shrek Princess's artwork, like someone in China got a hold of that pillowcase of Fiona and just tried to translate the artwork to 3D. But this tag definitely confirms that it's the real deal. that this is a Shrek Princess's product, and was probably included with the bedding as part of like a Shrek Princess room marketed towards little girls. It's also interesting that the Shrek Princess's line did her human form, and not her ogre form, which she's in for the whole movie. She's not a human in Shrek the Third. She's only a human in Shrek 1 and 2. So, a bit of a bizarre decision there, but you know, maybe they figured little girls wouldn't want Fiona ogre merchandise, which is a shame, because I think ogre Fiona's really pretty. But they went for the classic Disney princess look, which I think itself is kind of funny. Again, this is kind of a product lampooning Disney, and I think that's pretty interesting. Also, it's just an effective product. I think this is a badass lamp. I really like it. It's one of the better Fiona sculpts I've seen. And it's a nice big plastic piece. I just like putting something like this on display. It's like the Shrek Dixie cup holder. I have that prominently on display in my room. Just a nice big plastic Shrek piece. I just like it. So, that was the lesson I learned. You know, I passed on the Shrek HP, what is the long lost Shrek advertisement. I passed on the long lost Shrek advertisement and lost what many would consider a holy grail of Shrek collecting. So instead, I will buy the Fiona lamp, which I think may actually be rarer than the Shrek advertisement. This right here is kind of lost media in its own right, because up until that eBay listing, I had never seen this. And to me, I just think it's cool. And having it makes me happy. And that's what you do in life. You buy things that make you happy. Make you happy, not make you happy. Oh my god, I haven't had coffee in like 3 hours and I'm starting to lose my mind. I need more caffeine. So, the lesson to take away from today's episode is if you see something you like, just buy it. It's gonna be your one shot at getting that thing. Yeah, that's today's weird Shrek oddity. I don't know, I bought it and I thought, hey, I'm gonna make a video talking about this. And also talking about what I missed out on. Whoa, what's that?
It is I, Shrek. You have disappointed all of Ogrekind by refusing to buy the Shrek magazine ad worth millions. But you have reviewed the Fiona lamp and given her a stellar review. Glowing review even. Ha! Ha! Glowing like a lamp. Ah, ha, ha. On behalf of all the ogres, we present a gift.
Well, okay. Huh? What the? Oh my goodness. It's the lost media. The Shrek advertisement. Wow. It's the greatest thing since sliced frickin' bread. That's going in my cringe collection.